Well, Fastlane 2019 is in the books. It was, I'm not going to say it was one of the worst shows of the year. It definitely was one of the best shows in a while. This show dragged on way too long and should not have been this long. This pay-per-view, when we had it booked, should have been a 3-hour pay-per-view. Maybe 2 hours and 45 minutes. Vince McMahon, in his demented mind, decided, let's have as many stall breaks as we could. Let's stretch this pay-per-view out as long as we can to get a 3.5, almost 4-hour pay-per-view out of this for no fucking reason other than just to do it. One of the biggest positives, though, is one of the biggest complaints a lot of us, including myself, had after SmackDown when it was announced that Andrade, Cien Almas, and Rey Mysterio were destined for the pre-show. It's great to see that somebody in WWE got a fucking clue and decided to put them in a rematch from Tuesday's Fatal 4-Way Championship match for the United States Championship and another Fatal 4-Way U.S. Championship match when Samoa Joe defended his title against R-Truth, Andrade Cien Almas, and Rey Mysterio. So, if I can talk about anything being positive from this show is that Andrade Cien Almas and Rey Mysterio were not relegated to the pre-show. Mustafa Ali got a championship opportunity as he was put into the WWE Championship match in a triple threat match, which, honestly, that match was destined to be a dumpster fire, not because of the three men in the match, but the fact that everybody in the crowd in Cleveland wanted Kofi. Kofi was teased by Vince McMahon that he was going to be in a triple threat match, but he ended up facing the Bar in a 2-on-1 handicap match and being utterly destroyed. And it just makes me believe that Vince McMahon is building Kofi Kingston to be the WWE Champion coming out of WrestleMania. Is that going to happen? I don't think so. I still think Kofi's not winning the championship no matter what. But WWE did what they did tonight, and I honestly don't see what the fucking point was. Kofi had, it's just like, this, you almost, if it wasn't for the talent of Daniel Bryan, Mustafa Ali, and Kevin Owens, that match would have been an absolute disaster. The first half of the match and majority of the match, unfortunately, they did chant for Kofi, but the crowd, Kevin Owens, Mustafa Ali, and Daniel Bryan did their damnedest to get the crowd back into that match. And I don't give a shit what anyone says. The Shield versus the three-man brand was not a main event match. And when there's people like, oh, it's the last time ever. Oh, it's Roman Reigns battling back with cancer. No, that is bullshit. I can understand that the women, with the way the women's match for Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair ended, why it did not end the show. Going into this show, it just felt like that should have been the main event. I even think I said on my preview predictions, that should have been the main event. But it wasn't the main event. And I'm not mad about it with the way it ended, but I think Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and Mustafa Ali should have been the main event. These guys went out there and put on one hell of a show. Now, a lot of these matches that we're throwing on here tonight, the Fatal 4-Way, the beatdown of Kofi Kingston, and the New Day versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev on the pre-show, I didn't have any knowledge of them happening except for the Kofi Kingston, the New Day versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rusev match. I didn't have any knowledge of those three matches happening before I did my predictions, so they went on my prediction card. Of course, the prediction of Rey Mysterio versus Andrade gets thrown out the window as well, but I'm pretty sure I got everything else completely right. This was one of the more predictable shows of the year, and it's just the fact that Fastlane absolutely has no business being on the pay-per-view card, on the pay-per-view calendar. 2017 and 2018 Fastlane I could excuse because you had you had the separate brand pay-per-views. You had Raw in 2017, SmackDown in 2018. So it made a little bit more sense because the other brand could be building towards WrestleMania, so there would have been some build to WrestleMania. This year, we are 4 weeks, 28 nights out from WrestleMania, and we have two matches. We have Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar, and a triple threat for the Raw Women's Championship between Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. Nothing else. Now, actions that happen tonight in some places make me feel that they're going to have certain matches for people at WrestleMania. But that's still 2, 3, or 4, or 5 matches at best. I mean, yes, we do have the Batista versus Triple H feud that's starting to heat up. But other than that, there's really nothing else that feels like it's going to WrestleMania. They did announce that Finn Balor will defend his title against Bobby Lashley tomorrow night. Why? I don't know. Just because they feel like it. I guess you can't say it was an automatic rematch because he did defend the title against Lio Rush right after winning it. But still, Bobby Lashley versus Finn Balor. Balor needs to win that because Balor should be the one taking the title into WrestleMania. Against a Ricochet would be awesome, or an Aleister Black. Those two did have a good showing tonight as well. I think it would have been better for them to be doing other things, but they did have a good showing, and they did not eat the pin in the match. And another thing that seemed to be recurring tonight is we had a lot of post-match assaults. You had it in the tag team title match for SmackDown. You had it in the women's title match. You had it in... there were a couple other matches too, but it's like, it's fine if you have it once or twice on the show, but over and over and over again is kind of ridiculous. And at least 4 or 5 times we had Elias out with a concert to bash Cleveland and Ohio, which I'm an Ohio boy, but yes, Cleveland is one of the most miserable sports towns in all of the United States, so it's not surprising that they actually had him go out and do that. Tonight's show, if you think of thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, I'm kind of thumbs in the middle, leaning to an up, but not too far up. It's like thumbs in the middle, leaning to an up. There's not much I can say else about this. This show went on too long. The Shield versus the three-man bland, because that's what they are. They are bland. Drew McIntyre has fallen so far from his debut back in April that I don't know what's left for him. He came back to WWE. We all talked about maybe he could be the future Universal Champion. There was talk of Vince taking him and giving it Braun Strowman versus Drew McIntyre was a real talk for the Universal title at WrestleMania. And now look at him. Teaming with Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley. The Trash Man Bobby Lashley. I'm a big fan of Drew McIntyre, and it just hurts me that this guy, who is so good when he's under his real name in the Independents and TNA and everywhere else, is just like that guy that anybody would be foolish not to push this guy as their main world champion. Comes to Monday Night, goes to NXT, is a babyface, which is fine because they really didn't have any room for a main heel because Bobby Roode was just killing it at the time. But you have him come in, he is just on another level over almost anybody else in NXT. He gets hurt, comes back up in the middle of the Superstar shakeup. He has momentum, and then they just kill it, cut his head off, and he's just doing nothing now. Tonight's show could have been to what the content they had. If you take out all the Elias stuff, all the post-match beatdowns, except for the first one, which was needed, this show was probably a 3-hour show. They did way too much of just stall, because they had to stretch out and make it an almost 4-hour show, which was unnecessary. In the pre-show before the New Day and New Day of Big E and Xavier Woods came out to face Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura, some goon in a suit came to Kofi and was like, Kofi, the McMahon family summoned you to their office to talk to you about the WWE Championship match. So he went off to do that, so he was not at ringside. This was an okay match. It was nothing special. There was a lot of a lot of botching between both teams. It just felt like this match could have been a lot better, but for some reason, these teams just did not mesh well. Big E, Kofi, and Xavier are 3 of the best tag team wrestlers out there. Rusev and Nakamura just didn't feel like a cohesive unit. It just felt like they were off. Now, when Rusev was teaming with Aiden English, it was a lot. They had a little bit more together. They felt a little bit like a more legit team. They were Rusev Day. They were a great team, and I wish they could still be together. Of course, Aiden's coming into his own on the commentary booth, and I think, honestly, that is the best place for him because, honestly, I know the big reason why he's still employed and why they probably won't ever fire him is because he's Eddie's son-in-law. He is married to Shaw Guerrero, who is Eddie's daughter. So I don't think Aiden's ever going to lose his job unless he does something too egregious that WWE has no choice. So they're finding something for him to do, and he's commentating on 205 Live, and quite honestly, compared to Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness, I think he's the best third man on any brand. I'm just saying. This match went about, I swear they got a lot of time in this match, actually. They got like the second half of the pre-show. The pre-show went an hour, of course, and they had the pre-show talk about all the matches and everything. AJ was on the pre-show for a minute. Christian was there for the second half of the pre-show. Beth was there letting us know that she was going to be part of this women's tag team championship match commentary team. Are they going to have Beth on the women's commentary team for the women's tag team championship matches every single time? Because if that's the case, just put her on SmackDown. Remove Byron Saxton. He's just whatever. Or let this be a thing. Put Corey Graves only on Raw. Ugh. No. Put Corey Graves only on SmackDown. Put Beth on Raw. Remove Renee Young. Put somebody else there if you have to. And put Renee Young back to being an interview where she belongs, because she just adds nothing to the commentary booth. But, yeah, they did do a little hype thing, and when they first announced this match, this is back before anyone knew that the Fatal 4 was going to happen, they announced the Fatal 4-Way of Samoa Joe, Andrade Cien Almas, Rey Mysterio, and Night Truth on the pre-show. This, of course, came from Carmella trying to get a petition signed for R-Truth to get a rematch because there's no more rematch clauses. She and Vega are arguing like only two women would in WWE. And Joe comes up and says, excuse me, damn, that if Rey, Andrade Cien Almas, and R-Truth have any trouble, they can come find me and I'll send them. I'll take them all out and send them all to, take them all out and make them go night-night. And that's where that came from. So it's like, somebody in the back actually got a fucking clue and gave Rey Mysterio and Andrade Cien Almas a spot on the main card like they should have. And it's nice to see Samoa Joe getting to defend his title right after he won it. Now, partly worried about this because it was a rematch from Tuesday. And the fact that WWE does like to do their 50-50 shit, it would not have surprised me if Rey Mysterio, Andrade Cien Almas, or R-Truth would have upset Samoa Joe and had Samoa Joe be a transitional champion. I'm glad that didn't happen, and we'll talk about that later, but that's how that match got set up for later in the show. And the reason I also want to bring that up right now is that when they announced this match, the New Day versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura versus the New Day, I was like, they had two pre-show matches on a 1 hour pre-show? They're going to be like, they're both going to get like 5 minutes, if that. Thankfully, that's not what happened. This match, as I said, was not a good match. Not a good showing for all four guys. This match, it's like, it seems like Rusev and Nakamura are like just going through the motions. They're going through the motions. They know WWE's got no plans for them. They know they're going to go absolutely nowhere as a tag team. They're just put together because they're two guys that WWE has nothing else for them to do, and that's all this is. So, this match looked a lot more sloppy between all four guys. I mean, Big E and Xavier tried to do what they could with this match, but it just felt like this match could have been a lot better than it was. Match comes down to the end when Nakamura waits for Woods to get back up. Woods dodges the Kinshasa and rolls Nakamura up for a 2 count. Big E tags in and they catch Nakamura with a double team backstabber. Big E runs over Rusev as Lana looks on. Big E scoops Nakamura for the double team as Wood goes up top. Lana gets on the apron and interferes as Rusev distracts the referee. She yanks down Xavier Woods, crouching him on the top rope. More back and forth now. This leads to Rusev nailing a big monster kick on Big E, but Woods breaks the pin just in time. Woods ends up dumping Nakamura onto the floor. Rusev sends Woods to the apron. Woods sends Rusev to the floor. Woods runs the ropes and leaps out, but Nakamura and Rusev catch him in midair, and they spike him onto the floor hard. And I'm like, how many times is Xavier Woods going to get caught doing a dive over the top rope to get powerbombed on stair steps or spiked onto either the concrete floor, a mat, or the steel steps? It just seems like every time he gets caught, he takes a back bump harder than you should be. Rusev brings Woods back in the ring. Woods gets put in the accolade, and Woods fights in and gets to the bottom rope, but Nakamura pulls it back. Big E grabs Nakamura and tosses him to the timekeeper's area. Rusev breaks the hole and stares out as Big E. Rusev turns around to a roll-up from Woods for a 2 count. Rusev misses the corner and hits the ring post. Big E tags in and scoops Rusev as Woods goes to the top rope with the up, up, down, down that used to be called the Midnight Hour for the 1, 2, 3. The New Day are your winners. Quite honestly, this was a nothing match. What did it accomplish? Absolutely nothing. Was this for a championship opportunity? No. This match, I just don't know why it happened. There was no build to this. There was no heat between this. I mean, with Andrade Cien Almas and Rey Mysterio getting a match, it made a little sense with the fact that they've been feuding for a while. This match just got thrown together at last minute because somebody in WWE management figured, oh, we fucked up and put a WrestleMania-worthy match on the pre-show of Fastlane. And they gave us this match. They gave us that Fatal 4-Way and gave this match for the pre-show. We opened the show up with the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships, The Miz and Shane McMahon versus the Usos. Of course, this is a rematch from the Elimination Chamber where they were in the biggest story, and I swear they said it 3 or 4 fucking times. Tom Phillips had to remind us over and over and over, this is the Miz's hometown. Miz's father was in the ringside because I knew something was going to happen with A, it was in Miz's hometown, and B, his dad was there. Miz's father, every time they're in Cleveland, Miz's father is usually at ringside anyway, but they made an emphasis to have it known that he was at ringside. This was actually not a bad match. I think it was better than what they did at the Elimination Chamber. But let's see here. Miz drives knees into the leg of Jimmy. Miz goes to the figure 4, but Jimmy kicks him into the ring post. Jay tags in and taunts Miz's dad. Lifts him up on his shoulders. He's like, look at that. He said something about, hey, look, daddy, or something. Look at it, and said something like that. He knocks, Miz slides off and says that Uso in the corner, knocking his brother off. Miz rolls Jay up for a 2 count. Miz sends Jay to the apron and runs into an enziguri for him. Jay goes on up to the top, but Miz crotches him. Miz rocks Jay and climbs up, but Jay fights back, dropping him over the top rope. Shane goes to the top for a coast-to-coast on Jimmy, but Jay gets on the top rope, and we have a top rope standoff. Jimmy goes for the frog splash. Jay goes for the frog splash or splash onto Miz, and Shane, instead of leaping at Jimmy, actually leaps to hit Jay in the chest stomach area, but he actually gets him like in the bottom knee. Looked absolutely brutal. That was not a holy shit move, but that was just why are we still seeing these type of moments? Fans chant for Miz. Miz goes up top as his dad points to the turnbuckle. Get to the turnbuckle side. He's pretty much pointing to it. He goes up for a frog splash. And this had to be one of the worst frog splashes I've ever seen. He leaps. The start of this was good, but it was he pulled himself up to do the frog splash right in midair, but he got scared halfway down. It felt like because, and if you look at replays, it's like he's in the air. He's like, oh shit, and Jimmy catches him with knees. Jimmy turns it into a pin for the 1, 2, 3, and the Usos retain. Right, team 1. There's that. After the match, this is where I think everyone saw this coming. The Usos leave as the music hits. Miz and Shane start to recover in the ring as we go to replays. Miz checks on Shane in the corner, helping him to the floor. Fans cheer for them after the Usos leave. They go over to Miz's dad at ringside, raising their arms in the air. George raises both their arms. Miz walks off as Shane comes from behind, dropping him with a clothesline. Shane starts beating the living piss out of the Miz. Fans start to boo. The boos continue as Shane destroys the hometown star at ringside. Shane has words with George now. He actually grabs him by the face and starts talking trash and then pushes him down onto his chair. Shane goes back and starts beating the piss out of Miz some more. Shane applies a terrible triangle choke to Miz on the floor and right in front of Miz's dad, talking trash to him as George tries to get past the security guard to get Shane off of his son, but the security guard wouldn't let him, and we know George isn't going to be jumping over the barricade. He's just a little not flimsy enough to be doing that. Shane manhandles Miz some more before heading to the back as the boos continue. George comes over the barrier check on Miz with 2 referees. Shane stops on the stage and looks at the crowd as they continue to boo him. Fans chant for the Miz as he's helped to his feet. And we go to the end. Okay. One, I don't want to see Miz babyface at all. It's just he's not a believable wrestling babyface. People, if anyone's saying that, say, oh, go watch Mr. and Mrs. Miz and Mrs. He's a total babyface on that show. I don't care. That is a fake-ass reality TV show. This is the wrestling. This is WWE. They're 2 different entities. What you see on there is not what you see in WWE. I don't care what he does over there. They've tried this before with a babyface Miz. And he was not believable 1 second of his babyface turn last time. Of course, that led to him getting the figure 4, and he still uses it to this day. But I will say the beatdown was executed perfectly. The fact that he got in George's face and actually grabbed him by the face and started saying shit to him was fucking perfect. So, that was great. Do I want to see this match at WrestleMania still? No. This is going to be one of those matches. This will probably be like, I don't think it's going to be the best match on the show like AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon was at WrestleMania 33. But it's still going to be the match that they're going to have. Of course, Miz is nowhere in the same league as AJ Styles, but that's not the point. The Miz versus Shane McMahon is happening at WrestleMania. We go backstage, and Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, and Bobby Lashley are mocking the Shield as they do their backstage segment. They do a backstage promo like the Shield used to do with the, one member of them holding the camera up, going back and forth. They send them a warning for tonight's big 6-man match. Drew says the Shield will be destroyed by the new dominant force of WWE tonight. We go to the Elias. He sings a song, he starts them, goes in talking shots at Cleveland. Don't care. And I'm just like, it fades to black, and I'm like, wow. Elias didn't get interrupted for the first time since like SummerSlam 2017 on the pre-show. Congratulations. We see a pre-show segment which led to Kofi going to the McMahon family to discuss tonight's WWE Championship match. We're going to talk more about that later. SmackDown Women's title match, Randy Rose versus Asuka. This match just showed that nobody outside of Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair is on Asuka's level. Plain and simple. This match was terrible. Asuka did everything she could with Mandy Rose, but Mandy Rose just is not ready for Asuka. Mandy Rose is not ready for a big push. And honestly, it sucks that Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch are the only 2 credible superstars on SmackDown outside of Asuka for the Women's Championship. You're not going to see Peyton Royce or Billie Kay. You're not going to see Naomi. You're not going to see Mandy Rose or Sonya Deville. Not Lana. Not Carmella. Not Selena Vega. The only woman, and I'll say this again, the only woman who should be facing Asuka at WrestleMania for the Women's Championship is Nikki Cross. That is the only one that would be viable and credible to take on Asuka at WrestleMania. Are they going to do that? Probably not. I don't think the Lacey Evans match is going to happen. I don't know what they're doing with Lacey Evans. She did her strut tonight, again, to funeral silence, to radio silence, to no one giving a flying fuck. That's just that. This match, again, of course, was awful. Rose and Asuka go at it in the middle of the ring. Rose gets set into the ropes, but she slips on the ring apron because Sonya Deville shows frustration on the outside, and Deville goes under the ring looking for kendo sticks. She grabs the kendo stick, and instead of pulling the ring apron back down, she leaves it there. So when Mandy Rose goes against the ropes, she slips. Well, it's supposed to look like she slips on the ring apron, but she really doesn't if you actually look at the replay, which they got to stop doing that. Asuka takes advantage of the slip and nails a kick to the face. A spin kick. She hit a black mass. She literally hit a black mass for the 1, 2, 3 as she leveled. She leveled Mandy Rose. After the bell, Asuka leaves to the title. The bell comes in to apologize to Rose. Rose leaves and the bell continues to apologize, but Rose just won't have any of it. After the match, we go backstage, and Kofi and Big E and Xavier Woods find Kofi Kingston backstage, still waiting outside the McMahon family office. They go inside, and Vince McMahon says he's the one who's been waiting. Xavier praises Kofi, who really talks him up, saying it's been 11 years. Telling Vince McMahon that the big box office draw he has been looking for has been in front of him for 11 years. Big E also talks Kofi up for a spot in tonight's WWE title match. Vince says the match will be a triple threat. What's in it? Big E will be banned from ringside, and they're okay with that. Vince sends Kofi to the ring because he says the 2-on-1 that says the match is right now. Kofi comes to the ring for the title match. He comes out, fans chant his name. Rich Hamilton goes to introduce the next participant, but a ringside staffer stops him to deliver a message, and Hamilton does not look happy with what he's about to have to announce. Hamilton says that the WWE title match now will take place later tonight, as the following is just a handicap match, and introduces the Bar, Cesaro, and Sheamus. He announces that the Bar will be wrestling at the same time in this match. And Kofi's like, man, I got screwed again. Shakes his head and is like, I got screwed again. And Saxon says, screw if he got screwed again. This was a systematic beatdown of Kofi Kingston, there's no doubt about it. But Cesaro grabs Kofi for a big double team move as Sheamus comes back to the top with a clothesline. Sheamus drops Kofi with a big bro kick as this is boring chance starts up. Sheamus with another bro kick. Big E and Xavier runs down but from the back, but they get dropped on the mat by Rusev and Nakamura as they run out. Rusev and Nakamura deliver a Kinshasa and Monster kick. Back in the ring, the Bar hits a double white noise off the top rope. Goes to 1, 2, 3. The Bar beat Kofi in. Why? Because they can. If Kofi Kingston's not walking out of WrestleMania as WWE Champion, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Everything they have done between the Gauntlet match and now has been an absolute waste of time. There's been a report that if Kofi Kingston still goes to WrestleMania, it's most likely that as of right now, Daniel Bryan is walking out as WWE Champion to make him a more credible heel for a much bigger feud later down the line. Who would that be against? I honestly don't know. Honestly, in my opinion, if Kofi Kingston did not win the title at the Elimination Chamber, I don't see him actually winning the WWE Championship. That was the quintessential best time to get the title on him, and they did not do it. The refs had an earpiece in their ear. The ref could have went up to both guys and told them, letting them know what the finish, we're changing the finish, Kofi, we're going to do this instead. But they didn't do that. We have 4 weeks left to WrestleMania. We have 4 SmackDowns and 4 Raws left. SmackDown is going to be interesting for the WWE Championship match alone. Plain and simple. That is like the biggest match for SmackDown. It sucks because the U.S. Championship, unless John Cena vs. Samoa Joe is actually the match at WrestleMania, SmackDown's side of the brand is going to be weaker in my opinion. I mean, Styles vs. Orton should be interesting if it happens. Shane vs. Miz is blech. And if it's happening, it'd be great. Matt and Jeff Hardy versus the Usos would be a great way to send the Usos off if they're not going to be signing a contract to stay with WWE. More of that as the weeks go on. We're going to move on here. Kayla Braxton is backstage with the WWE. I keep wanting to say SmackDown Women's Tag Team Champions, but thank God there's not 2 sets of titles. Banks and Bayley, the Hot Boss and Her Connection. They are confident about getting into tonight's title defense and being the strongest team in the division. As Elias is back out for another song, he takes shots at The Miz and Kofi Kingston and the people of Cleveland. He sings about putting all the Kofi head to rest, that he gets more local heat saying he's a fan. He says, my hometown Pittsburgh Steelers are the best. If you're in Cleveland, you mentioned the Pittsburgh Steelers, you are definitely just public enemy number 1. If you say, unless you're talking about how the Pittsburgh Steelers, unless you're saying the Pittsburgh Squealers or the Pittsburgh Steelers are dog shit bad or something like that, if you praise the Pittsburgh Steelers in Cleveland, you are going to be hated forever. They show us a replay of what happened earlier in the night. Kayla Braxton, I believe, is in the back. I think it was Kayla. Yeah, Kayla knocks on the McMahon from the office. Out comes Shane. She asks him if he has an explanation for what he did to Miz and his father. Shane just gives her a smirk, turns around, and walks back into the office, shutting the door in her face. Raw Tag Team Championship match, Ricochet and Aleister Black versus the Glorious Ones of Chad Gable and Bobby Roode versus The Revival. This was a decent, excellent match. These 6 guys right here put on a great match. This was the best match of the show right now. I think Cultaholic said at the beginning of this match, it took 3 minutes of this match to make this the best match of the night so far by default. And it was at this time. Ricochet and Aleister Black. Ricochet was a little bit more tame tonight. He did do a dive over the turnbuckle to the outside, taking Bobby Roode out. But he was a little bit more tame tonight, probably because it was a six-man tag. It's a triple threat match, tag team match. And he was going to be limited for what he could do. I can't wait to see what this guy can do on a pay-per-view for the main roster, most likely WrestleMania, in a probably, I hope, a multi-man Intercontinental title match with him in there. Hopefully with him, maybe winning it. Maybe I think if I could pick one of the two to win the Intercontinental title from Balor or whoever, I would like to see Ricochet. Aleister Black, I think, would be great to be in a feud against a heel person for the Universal Championship. That's my opinion. This was ended. Let's see here. Ricochet sends Dawson to the floor with a Hurricane Rana, but barely connects, knocking down Dash. This was horrible. Dawson was on the top rope. This looked very bad, and I'm surprised Dawson does not have a concussion or a really bad neck, because it looked like his neck hit the apron. Ricochet and him were fighting on the top rope, and this is something I don't think Dawson should ever be a part of, because Ricochet goes for a Hurricane Rana off the apron, off the turnbuckle to the outside, and it's like Dawson wasn't ready for it, and they barely went over, and it literally looked like Dawson hit his head as they were coming down. They both landed hard. It very badly. Fans chant holy shit, and I would say holy shit not in a good way. Ricochet brings Dawson into the ring as they are legal. Dawson is still dazed. Ricochet goes to the top. Roode sends Black into the barrier. Ricochet comes down off the top rope, runs the ring, leaping over the ring post to take down Roode on the floor. Gable can't believe what he saw. He did take the tag as Ricochet was leaping over the turnbuckle. Gable comes off the top rope, but Dawson turns it into a roll-up for a 2. Gable with a 2 count on Dawson. This leads to Revival hitting a Shatter Machine on a Dazed Gable for the 1-2-3. The Revival win. Post-match attack number 2. After the match, Dash attacks Black as he tries to come into the ring, kicking him back out. Roode attacks the Revival from behind and hits a glorious DDT on Dawson. Black with a black mask for Roode and a big kick to the face of Dash. Ricochet drives into the mat. Ricochet goes to the top and spans pop. Ricochet goes for a big 630 and lands hard. He messed the landing up a little bit, because usually when Ricochet hits the 630, he's landing where he's able to prop forward. He almost, if he didn't, actually hit his head on the apron on the mat as he hit the 630. Ricochet and Black celebrate in the ring as the music hits. We go to replays. The Revival limp up the ramp with the titles, and the others look on. We get more of a Shield reunion hype for later on in the night. Fatal 4-way for the United States Championship. United States title. R-Truth versus Andrade Cien Almas versus Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe. And may I reiterate, Samoa Joe looks damn fucking good with that U.S. Championship on his shoulder. I'm going to say it every time. He looks damn good, and he should not lose that title to at least SummerSlam. Give the U.S. Championship some prominence. Samoa Joe keeps that championship till well after the Superstar shakeup. Whoever is going to be the next U.S. champion is sitting on Monday Night Raw, because I don't think the Intercontinental title or the U.S. title should switch brands again. They switched brands 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. They looked like they were going to switch brands again last year, but Jinder Mahal lost the U.S. Championship to Jeff Hardy, who was then promptly sent to SmackDown the next night. So I think they should stay where they are. Samoa Joe keeps the title going into SummerSlam, and whoever they need to build somebody up. They need to build somebody up. Hell, for all we know, we don't know where Ricochet or Aleister Black's going to be when the main roster's done. They're on both shows right now and NXT. So if you want Ricochet or if you want Aleister Black on SmackDown, I could honestly see him going for the U.S. title, even though I think he does those better than that. But his first championship match could be Samoa Joe versus Aleister Black at SummerSlam for the U.S. Championship, or Ricochet versus Samoa Joe at SummerSlam for the U.S. Championship, if that's what they decide to do. And I think that should be built up over time, where Ricochet or Black does not lose on the way to SummerSlam, and Samoa Joe does not lose on the way to SummerSlam, defends that title at every single pay-per-view or every other pay-per-view, and makes that title seen every single, like every week or every other week. Not this shit with like Shinsuke Nakamura, who had the title and did nothing with it. Samoa Joe should be defending that title at least once a month, whether it's on SmackDown or on a pay-per-view, and build this prestige up so when a Aleister Black or a Samoa or a Ricochet or even a Johnny Gargano beats him for it, because Tommaso Ciampa's out. We don't know what they're doing with Gargano. I think he's back in NXT for the time being till at least July or takeover after. I think Johnny Gargano's in NXT till the takeover after WrestleMania, which I think is in June. And then he might be up after that, or he might be up after that SummerSlam. I don't know. But Samoa Joe should be only losing that title to Ricochet or Aleister Black. That's my opinion. I know I said what I said earlier, but that should be who he loses it to. I say things back and forth, but I think that's what they should do. Another excellent match. R-Truth, in my opinion, is really underrated, and he, in my opinion, should have been. The comedy shit is fine and all. I mean, the only reason he's been doing the whole shtick for the longest time, where he thinks he's in the Royal Rumble, but he thinks it's a lot of the Money in the Bank ladder match. He thinks he was in the Elimination Chamber, I think, once. It was in this match, or we're in this town, or he does something stupid. It was because a couple years ago, they were in, they weren't in Green Bay, they were in another place in Wisconsin, and he came out and stupidly said Green Bay, Wisconsin, and WWE, and Vince McMahon thought that was funny and had him go with that from here until recently. R-Truth could be in this U.S. Championship opportunity, like title picture, that's fine. I don't see him winning it again. It was great to see that he would actually win the U.S. title. No, it had nothing to do with Black History Month. It was great to see it was great to give him a title for the first time in 7 years, but Samoa Joe should be keeping this thing. But he is definitely underrated, and WWE has misused and mishandled R-Truth for years. Go back and watch his time in TNA Impact Wrestling, and you can see that he is definitely better than what WWE has been using him for. He held his own in this match. Rey Mysterio and Andrade Cien Almas do what they can, are who they are. You're not going to sit there and see a bad match between these two. Unless these guys are told that they're only going to have 4 or 5 minutes in a match. These two, if they're given 15 to 20 minutes, are going to go out there and show you that they are two of the best Lucha Libre stars in the world today. And quite honestly, if Rey Mysterio wanted to do a retirement match next year, Andrade Cien Almas is the only guy I think should be retiring of Rey Mysterio and getting that big heel thing to like I was the one to retire Rey Mysterio. Maybe that would be the WrestleMania match. Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. If Rey Mysterio loses, he has to retire. That would be huge for Andrade Cien Almas to be the guy to go out there and face Rey Mysterio and retire a Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. I don't think that's going to happen, but I honestly could see them doing that, and that would be actually great because it would give Andrade that heel heat, and it would give him that would make him a star, a major star, even though he is a star. Not much else you can say about this. This match was one of those things, and of course, Zelina Vega and Carmella are both out there. They were going to get involved. Her and Carmella start fighting after she interferes in the match. Joe brings Ray in, hits a Uranagi. Looks like he's about to win, but Rey Mysterio kicks out at 2. Andrade with a hammerlock DDT on Ray for the 1-2 kick out. Truth makes the save on the pin. Andrade with the running knees to Joe in the corner. Truth takes Andrade and then Joe down. Truth slams Andrade onto Joe next. Truth with another tribute to John Cena with the 5-knuckle shuffle, only hitting Joe as Andrade moved out of the way. Truth drops Andrade with a kick to the back of the head, but Joe breaks it up with a big senton. Joe dodges the scissors kick, sends Truth into the ring post, and falls out of the floor. Ray sends Joe into the position and hits a 619. Ray goes up and tries to do a frog splash off the ring, a springboard frog splash, but he took about 10 seconds before he actually did it. Joe avoids this, grabs him, puts him right in the Coquina clutch, And Rey Mysterio goes night-night. Rey Mysterio fades away. He fades away in class of... Yeah, you know what I mean. He fades away and he is done. And Samoa Joe is your winner. Another thing. Joe wins every match like this. Coquina Clutch, new not tap out. Everybody goes night-night. Build this up. Everybody goes night-night. Everybody gets put in the Coquina Clutch. Tap. They don't tap. No tapping. You got to build this Coquina Clutch up as a devastating move. Tapping out is too fucking easy. He grabs it on. People fight, and they pass out. That's how this needs to go. It'll make Jaro look like a badass. It'll make the Coquina Clutch that he has, which is just a sleeper hold, and it's the same finisher that Shayna Baszler uses to care for the clutch. Coquina Clutch, it's the same thing. It's a sleeper hold with a leg vice, but still, you put it on and nobody taps out. They pass out. That's what it should be. As long as he's United States champion, nobody taps out to the Coquina Clutch. Everybody passes out. Joe stands tall and takes his title. The music hits. We see others trying to recover as the referee checks on Rey in the ring. Joe marches up the ramp and he stops to raise the title. And again, he looks damn good with that title. Don't lose it, Joe. Don't lose it for a very long time. This match sucked next. Nia Jax and Tamina versus Sasha Banks and Bayley. This needs to be the last time, even though the way they built it tonight, this needs to be the last time Nia Jax is in a title match for a very long fucking time. I'm going to bring this up because I don't do more than one episode unscripted usually. But yesterday, I'm on my Twitter account, and I see that Meltzer is trending. That goon, that jackass, Ryan Satin, calls out, listened to the Wrestling Observer newsletter recently, the last one they did for radio, and he listened to what Dave Meltzer said. He takes a 10-second clip, takes what Meltzer said out of context, and posts it to Twitter, and starts trying to discredit Dave Meltzer. I'm going to say right now, I'm not somebody who sits there and says Dave Meltzer's 100% right and Dave Meltzer's 100% real, and he's like the wrestling gospel, but Dave Meltzer is the top of the food chain in the wrestling landscape when it comes to journalism. He's been doing it the longest. He's been doing it better than most. And Ryan Satin wants to try and make it sound like he's any better. He's not. So, why do I bring this up right now is because of all fucking people, I don't care who you're related to, who the fucking person Dave was talking to. Nia Jax has no fucking business to even open her damn mouth. There is a reason that Roman, which was about, they're supposedly saying that Roman lied about his leukemia and lied about his care. Nia has no fucking business even talking about that or saying anything. Roman didn't say anything. No, but WWE didn't say anything. Here's an idea, Nia. Here's a great idea. You are terrible at promos. You are terrible in the ring. You have a terrible stage presence. How about you work on those instead of worrying about what the dirt sheets have to say? How about that? How about working on your craft in the fucking ring instead of worrying what other people have to say about your fucking cousin? I'm sorry. How old is Roman? How old is Joe Arnwale? He's what? 25, 30? What is he, like 30 years old? Didn't realize he had to have his cousin stick up for him. The guy is a grown-ass man. Roman Reigns can take care of his fucking self. He doesn't need your ass to sit there and fight his battles for him. And then you have fucking cretins sending tweets to The Rock. Hey, Rock, have you seen what Dave Meltzer said about Roman Reigns? How about this? The Rock knows, hey, Roman's a grown-ass man. Roman can take care of himself. If Roman wants to say something, Roman will say something. It's that simple. Worry about yourself. Don't have to stick up for somebody who is grown-ass man who can take care of his fucking self. You have other things to worry about. If you're taking time out of your day to call someone a piece of shit just because you have nothing else to do in your life, you are a pathetic person. Plain and simple. You need to worry about your own self. You need to be able to go out there and show me that you want to improve. You want to be better. The only reason, and show me that the only reason you're that. Oh, sorry. You need to go out there and show me that the only reason you're not in this position you're on is because you're The Rock's cousin. Because that, to me, that's the only reason you are. The only reason you have a title match every single time, it seems like. The only reason you won that battle fucking royal at Evolution and won on the face of Ronda Rousey instead of someone like Ember Moon or Ruby Riott or anybody else is because you're The Rock's cousin. You're at this part in the card because you're who you're related to. And you have not shown me or anyone else otherwise. You suck tonight in this match too. You are a terrible fucking worker. Your promos fucking suck. Your stage presence fucking sucks. Work on that shit. Don't worry about what other people say. Roman brushed it off. So why don't you? What the hell did you accomplish? What the hell did you accomplish? And then you have people like, oh, Nia Jax is the biggest babyface in the company now because of what she said about Dave Meltzer. Like, anybody who has a fucking brain should really fucking care. Dave is Dave. He's going to do what he can. He does his job. It's just like, I'm not trying to defend him. If he said what he said, even though he apologized to any miswording that he had. That is what it is. Just do what you can to get better in the ring, better on the mic. Go to the fucking performance center and hone your craft if you have to. Because quite honestly, Nia, you fucking suck at your goddamn job, and you only have the position you have because who you're related to. Plain and simple. And you showed it tonight too because you didn't do any fucking better. Tamina didn't help herself either because Tamina was supposed to toss Sasha Banks into Nia Jax for a Samoan drop, and she damn near missed Nia Jax to where Nia Jax could have hurt, like Sasha Banks could have been severely hurt. I'm just saying. Again, this match was awful. Banks and Bayley push Jax back to the ring. Banks goes at top in the double knees. Bayley follows up with the top rope elbow drop, but Snuka breaks that up. Banks runs over the top, stops Snuka, but Snuka drops her onto the floor. Bayley drops Snuka over the middle rope. Jax grabs Bayley for a powerbomb, but it's counted into a pin attempt. Roll up for the 1, 2, 3. Nia Jax got beat with a roll up by Bayley as Sasha Banks and Bayley win the match. Here comes post-match attack number 3. After the match, Jax and Snuka immediately attack the champions, then toss them out of the ring into the floor. Snuka knocks Bayley back with a super kick to the face. Jax launches Banks over the announce table. Jax and Snuka stand tall as the fans boo them. Phoenix, who was on the call for this match, backs up and turns around to Snuka staring her down. They have words as fans cheer. Phoenix drops Snuka with a forearm. Jax comes from behind and drops Phoenix. Jax and Snuka double team Phoenix. Jax brings Phoenix into the ring and runs the ropes for a big leg drop, which I'm surprised that Beth Phoenix doesn't have a concussion with how piss poor Nia Jax's leg drop is. Nia Jax needs to do something else because her leg drop is absolutely fucking terrible, and I'm surprised more women haven't had concussions with how bad she does a leg drop. Snuka goes for the top rope splash, but Natalya runs down to make the save for her, Longfriend, and the double team catches up as Natalya gets beat down as well. Officials hit the ring to get Jax and Snuka out of the ring. Phoenix and Natalya are down as referees check on them. Fans boo as Jax and Snuka back up the ramp with smiles on their faces. And that's that. So it looks like they couldn't get Trish and Lita. So we're getting Natalya and Beth Phoenix versus the Boston Hug Connection versus the Nia Jax and Tamina versus, I don't know. It's supposed to be a fatal 4-way, supposedly, with an NXT team, but it looks like we're not getting an NXT team. We're going to get a Legends team, Raw team, Boston Hug Connection, and probably a SmackDown team. I don't know. It's probably going to be a SmackDown team because, maybe the Iconics, maybe Fabulous Glow, who knows. Simply because I don't think Vince McMahon wants any member of NXT on the roster who's not on their way up. And if you would have the Sky Pirates on NXT on WrestleMania and then them just go back down to NXT, I don't think Vince McMahon would see that as a good look, which I think is pathetic. We come back from a video package for the WWE title, and Rich Hamilton's like, "The following contest is a triple threat match." And I'm like, what? We just had Kofi Kingston beat down. What the hell's going on here? Kevin Owens comes out first. Daniel Bryan comes out first, and people are wondering who's the third guy. Mustafa Ali. Fans hated it immediately. This sucks for Ali. This guy, first off, got injured right before the Elimination Chamber, got a concussion the previous Sunday. A week before the Elimination Chamber, this dude got a concussion. Pulled from the gauntlet match. Kofi got his spot. Kofi walked in to Mustafa Ali's spot. Mustafa Ali should be the hot babyface coming into this match. And he got put into a match that even if this was a one-on-one match, you would have had "We Want Kofi" chants no matter what. This match was doomed for boos for the majority of this match. Thankfully, these three guys are good at what they do because the fans got back into this match up until the end. This match was good, and this match was great. The right man won. Mustafa Ali, I wish wanted to take a pinfall in this match, but unfortunately he did. Kevin Owens, I think, should have been the one to take the fall. But this match was great. They definitely had this. The fans did not care about this match. They kept chanting for Kofi. They were booing. This match sucks. This is boring. Halfway through this match, you started hearing the crowd chant for KO. Mustafa Ali did what he had to do. This match, I wish could have went, and I wish this match should have closed the show. I'm just going to tell you right now. With everything that happened after this match should have closed the show. Don't at me. Don't tell me I'm wrong. This match should have closed the show. This match, in hindsight, I don't care what anyone fucking says. The Shield match went way too long and was just way too fucking out of it. This match should have closed the show. Owens goes for the powerbomb to power Bryan on the apron, but Bryan backdrops him. Owens falls to the floor. Bryan charges on the apron with a running knee, but Ali moves and Bryan knees the ring post. Ali with a shot to the throat of Bryan. Ali goes to the top and hits the 450 on the apron. Bryan rolls into the ring, but Ali crawls for him, and Ali makes the close 2 count as Rowan pulls Bryan to safety. Bryan sends Ali down, and he lands on his feet on the floor. This leads to Bryan jumping for a big DDT on the floor. Ali charges at Owens on the outside, and Owens catches him with a pop-up powerbomb on the apron. Rowan stops Owens from capitalizing with a big spin kick. Rowan sends Ali into the ring and sends Owens over the timekeeper's area. Bryan rolls in, but Ali kicks out at 2. Bryan can't believe it. Rowan looks on as Bryan is slow to pull it back together. Fans chant for Ali, but Bryan gets up first. Bryan lifts Ali and talks trash about how he doesn't deserve to be here. While hitting him with some strikes, Ali fires back and Bryan runs with an elbow. They both collide in midair, and Bryan connects with a flying knee out of nowhere for the 1, 2, 3. Beat down number 4 or 5? After the match, Rowan brings the WWE title in the ring, helps Bryan up as music hits, and stands tall. We go to replays. Bryan raises the title and then points to Ali as music hit stops. Rowan grabs Ali and choke slams him. Face slams him into the mat, and Rowan stands tall over Ali and helps Bryan back up as the music starts back up. Match should have closed the show. This match was the best match of the night. Don't at me, motherfuckers. Don't at me. Best match of the night. Best match with in-ring performances, in-ring presence, and this match started off, and it was like this match. I was looking like this match is fucked. This match is going to be fucked because WWE overdid it. There was no reason for the Kofi Kingston beatdown tonight. Unless we get to WrestleMania and Kofi Kingston is walking out WWE champion, the beatdown of the bar on Kofi Kingston was absolutely meaningless. Meaningless. Then after this, we had the Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair match. I know it's for the Raw Women's Championship, but these two women are technically still SmackDown superstars. Until that match is over and one of these two women walk out at WrestleMania as the women's champion, because let's face it, one of them will, most likely Becky. These two are still on the SmackDown brand. Plain and simple. This match, before this match started, I'm like, the Roman agenda, which it still is, the Roman agenda is back in full force. This has been supposed to be the biggest feud, hottest feud coming into this show. If it wasn't for this fucking finish that they had, which I knew they were going to go with, this match should have been the finish. This match should have been the end of the show. But with the fact that this match ended the way it did, makes sense why it didn't. But the match, the WWE Championship match should have closed the show, plain and simple. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. This match, I knew, and I listened to Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez do their recap of what they think. I think they were doing what they think the star ratings for each one of these matches were going to be. And Brian Alvarez said that he would not put it past WWE for Charlotte to win this match in a fucked up way, and then we come back on Monday or Tuesday and Becky still gets in the WrestleMania anyway. Because if you beat Charlotte clean, why is she in the triple threat match? What would be the fucking point of putting her in the triple threat match? And apparently Vince doesn't want Becky to be beat either. So the way they did this match's finish was about the only way you could actually do it. Plain and simple. This match. Flair hits the ring to break up the count, but Lynch applies a disarm her. Flair overpowers and gets free, applying the figure 4. Going for the figure 8. Ronda Rousey just runs down as fast as she can, comes in the ring, and just cocks back her fist and just lands a big punch down onto to Becky Lynch. Fans boo as Rousey taunts the referee. The referee says it's Charles Robinson's like, what the fuck are you doing? Comes over to Rachel and brings Rachel Hamilton over and says, winner of this match by DQ is Becky Lynch. Ronda Rousey just looks on as, it's Mike Rome, not Richard Hamilton. Mike Rome announces Becky as the winner, also confirming her WrestleMania 34 spot. Rousey smirks at Flair, looks at both of them for a minute, and looked like maybe somebody was going to brawl or something. Rousey just walks past both of them, exit the ring. Rousey gave no fucks, and she's like, I'll see you bitches at WrestleMania. And that was that. Flair isn't thrilled. Becky gets to her feet in the corner as her music hits, and that was that. We didn't have no fight. We didn't have nothing. That was that. Let's go one more time for Elias is in the ring for another song and sings and takes shots at Becky Lynch and, of course, the people of Cleveland. He goes and the music hits to bring Lacey. He goes on and says, wow, this is how it should be. No interruptions tonight. He said, I am done for the night. Thank you all. I am the best at what I do, and I love none of you. WWE, I wish you would listen to us podcasters here. Lacey Evans is dead in the water. Nobody cares about Lacey Evans. It was an Elimination Chamber, Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown. This is 8 times, right? 8 times she's come out. Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown. Yeah, 8 times she has come out, walked down the ring, and turned around and walked back. To silence. Nobody cares. I'm sick of it. Carlholic's sick of it. JD's sick of it. I'm sure What Culture's sick of it. Nobody fucking cares. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, EC3 can actually talk. They gave him his voice box back. I forgot about that one. EC3. And it was funny because Sonya Deville was back. Maybe it wasn't Sonya Deville in the back at the pre-show. I totally forgot about this. It just came to my mind. EC3 comes up and says, the first words out of EC3's mouth is, Mandy. I'm sure Ross Waddell is gonna enjoy that one on his WTF moments for this. But he says a couple things, and then Sonya Deville kind of just roasts him. Is like, we've been waiting months for you to say something, and this is what you have to say? Really? So yeah, he got roasted. So yeah, EC3 was given his voice box back by WWE. I don't know what took him so long, but it's great. Hopefully he can actually do something, say something, get himself over the way he can on the mic. He needs a little bit more, he needs to be in the mat and ring with people who can help him put on great matches. But the guy can talk. It's about fucking time they let him talk. It's been 2.5 months and it's about fucking time. Bobby Lashley versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental title has been confirmed for Raw. I think it's for the title. And then we have the Shield versus three-man brand, which breaks my heart to call to so Drew McIntyre and put him in a group like this. It just kills me. This guy is fucking great. Go. You want to see Drew Galloway McIntyre at his best promoing? Go to YouTube. Type in YouTube.com. Type Drew Galloway returns to WCPW, and go watch that promo. That guy. I got a lot of respect for Drew McIntyre that night when I saw that promo, when he was talking about what had happened from the time he started wrestling to the time that he was in WWE. He was like one of the youngest guys going through developmental, and it kind of hurt him on his first run in WWE. Bad things happened in his life, and then he ended up getting released. And unlike some people, like the members of the Spirit Squad and others, he didn't just say, well, I'm just going to be myself, I'm just going to be who I am, and hopefully WWE will pick me back up. No, this guy went out there and reinvented himself and became one of the best damn performers on the independents at the time. Comes back into NXT, still looking like he could be world champion on Raw or SmackDown. Comes back up to Monday Night Raw. I wish he would have went to SmackDown. And pretty much goes from possible next big heel to three-man brand, losing to the Shield. Being put through a announce table with a triple powerbomb by the Shield. This match went way too fucking long. It was 10 o'clock. 10:05 or something when this match started. This match went way too fucking long. I don't care what anyone says. This was fucking horrendous. Yes, you had the big spots. You had Seth Rollins reliving his match against the Evolution, where he went on, where him and Dean Ambrose were fighting, where Dean Ambrose and him were fighting Batista and Triple H, and he went up on top of a balcony and dove onto everybody. They did that tonight too. This match went too fucking long, and it's just pathetic. We were in Cleveland, Ohio. The Browns fans are in there. Who knows what these guys don't know a good thing when it's seen. This match sucked. This match was absolutely terrible. And of course, they won with a triple powerbomb. What else do you want me to say? This match should have been. You cut. They first and foremost, they treated this as a normal 6-man tag match, while the 3-man brand had been mocking the Shield for months. Roman has been out for months. And Dean Ambrose is back to being wacky Dean Ambrose. He did the spring back clothesline that he hasn't done since before he got injured. He was Dean Ambrose Shield and Dean Ambrose after Shield, where he did everything that he would do. Like, this was not Dean Ambrose, who came back in that SummerSlam last year and had a more rugged edge to him, was gone. It was just back to wacky Dean Ambrose. This match was terrible, and I don't want to hear anything otherwise. Let's see here. We see Ambrose and Rollins coming back to the ringside area. Roman's ready for a spear. Waiting for Corbin to get up. Drew comes over and sends Ambrose into the barrier. Reigns with the Superman punch to Drew and Lashley on the apron. Corbin nails end the days on Reigns, but Rollins makes a save just in time, barely breaking the pin up. Actually, with Dean Ambrose, not Rollins. Rollins was actually a couple seconds late. Corbin is frustrated as he unloads on the Shield while they are down. Corbin sends Reigns out of the ring and follows. Corbin calls the shots as Drew and Lashley help take apart the announce tables. They go to do a triple powerbomb on Reigns first, but Ambrose and Rollins make the same. Lashley and Drew fight them off. Reigns with a Superman punch to Lashley to stop Rollins from behind, but being put through a table. Reigns with another Superman punch, and then there's chaos at ringside. Lashley gets taken out by a stomp from Rollins. Reigns drops Corbin with a spear on the floor. The Shield triple team Drew onto the floor. Corbin is rolled into the ring. The Shield brings Drew over to the announce table, and they put him through it with a signature triple powerbomb. Fans chant one more time at the Shield. The Shield turn their attention to Corbin, who is still down in the ring. Fans chant, "This is awesome. This is not awesome. This was absolutely fucking horrendous." As the Shield stops Corbin from the apron, Corbin is surrounding the ring. Rollins with a super kick, Reigns with a Superman punch, Dean Ambrose with a dirty deeds. Fans pop as the Shield celebrate the beatdown. Corbin getting Cleveland hyped up. They deliver a triple powerbomb to Corbin in the middle of the ring for 1, 2, 3. After the match, the Shield stand tall together. As the music goes off, we go some replays, come back. Cole talking about saluting the Shield for the last time as Ambrose's future is up in the air. As of last Monday, he is still leaving. And quite honestly, I'll talk about it in a second. Rollins and Reigns do the Shield style fist bump in the middle of the ring as Fastlane goes off the air. Yay, the Shield's done. Hopefully that's the last time we see the Shield ever. This is the problem with bringing factions back as much as they've had the Shield. You ruin any hope of seeing the Shield. Like, you can't have the Shield back and then something goes wrong. Oh, the Shield went wrong last time, let's bring it back again. It diminishes the Shield every single time. It just gets worse and worse. This is just like if, like, DX, this is just like when DX in 1997, well, not in 97, I'm sorry. The DX started up again in 1998 with X-Pac and the New Age Outlaws joining Triple H. They rode high together for all of 98 into 99. Then they broke up because Triple H turned heel, because they were all baby faces going into 99. They helped Mick Foley fend off the corporation when he won the WWE Championship for the first time. Anyway, they broke up, and then by the end of the year, the DX was back together. Well, after a good while, they were broke up again. Road Dogg ended up getting fired by the end of 2000, and DX was pretty much done after 2000. We didn't see another iteration of DX for 6 years. 6 years, and it was just Triple H and Shawn Michaels. And that was terrible. That was absolutely terrible. Of course, me at 16 years old was like, oh my god, this is great. When I look back on it now, it was fucking awful. Then Triple H got hurt at the beginning of 2007. It was supposed to be DX winning the World Tag Team titles from Radio KO, but they had to do a Heat K finish schmoz because Triple H tore his other tendon, or other quad muscle, in his other leg, the one that he didn't tear the first time. Then we didn't see DX again for another 2 years, and it just diminishes. Now we see all the members of DX, except for Billy Gunn, who's now outside of the Hall of Fame. We won't see we've seen DX at Raw 1000, we saw him at Raw 25, we've seen him every so often in these just one time only, let's just have a big promo and beat up on the heel we have to bury this time. The Shield was a big thing. The Shield was the most dominating faction of the last 10 years. They're one of the best factions in WWE history. And now, you've had them come back in 2017, you had them come back in 2018, you had them come back in 2019. I hope Dean Ambrose leaves, and I hope Dean Ambrose doesn't come back, but at least, if he does come back to WWE, doesn't come back for at least 10 years. And then you can do a Shield reunion. I don't want to see the Shield anymore. This is it. This is done. I don't want to see it anymore. It's just too fucking much. Keep bringing back the Shield stifles the growth of Roman Reigns. It stifles the growth of Dean Ambrose. It stifles the growth of Seth Rollins. It doesn't need to happen anymore. And another reason why, and here's the reason why I think Dean Ambrose is leaving still. Yeah, they did the Shield reunion tonight. They can't do anything at WrestleMania for the Shield because Seth Rollins is facing Brock Lesnar. What do you do with Roman and Dean? You're not going to have 2/3 of the Shield versus 2 people, and then that'd be it. No. What they should do, in my opinion, is have Roman or Dean challenge Roman to a match at WrestleMania. Because if I'm leaving, I want to go out facing you, my brother, the guy I said so much about or something. And then they have a match at WrestleMania, whether it's a grudge match or just a match of respect as it Dean's last ride on the main roster, or in WWE before he leaves. And after Seth Rollins wins the championship, which he should, they come out, they clap, the whole clap saying congratulations, they raise his hands, and then they do the fist bump, and that's how that segment ends. That's not closing the show, that's Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte Flair. Even though both matches that are already decided, the Universal Championship and the Raw Women's Championship match, they're 2 matches that we should be hyped for the next 4 weeks, and both matches have been diminished beyond, they're just there. So WrestleMania is not looking very good right now. But that is the last time I want to see the Shield for a very long time. If you were going to bring the Shield back not 3 years, not even 4 years after you broke them up, why break them up in the first fucking place? Why couldn't Roman and Seth and Dean be a unit and have Roman Reigns go for the WWE Championship? Why couldn't you have Seth and Dean being, because this was 2014, they could have been Intercontinental and US Champion and Tag Team Champions or whatever. Why the fuck would you have them broke up if you're just going to reunite them 3 years later? It was just so monumentally bad. Hopefully, I'm so hoping and praying Dean Ambrose is leaving. Because I honestly don't think he's going to All Elite Wrestling. Everybody thinks he is. I don't think he's going to AEW. One, I think he's taking a couple months off because, one, he's probably burnt out from wrestling. Two, he probably wants to, like, I know he's gone for 8, 9, 10, like 8 months or so last year, but I feel like he would probably just want to, like, let his mind rest from being part of any part of WWE, and I'm pretty sure he has the money to keep himself stable while, if Renee stays in WWE, which I'm sure she will, especially if Dean doesn't do anything, like say he doesn't sign his contract and he leaves and he's gone, and he's like, you know what, I want to take the next 6 months off. I'm going to take the next 6 months off and just, go to Las Vegas where I live and just spend the time there and just relax, let my body be all nice and firm and heal and everything. And you never know, maybe he signs a new contract in WWE going into 2020. Maybe he goes to AEW on the way to 2020. Dean Ambrose leaves in April. It doesn't mean he's going anywhere to another promotion. But he needs to leave, or WWE is going to still, for no matter what we do, we will always see Shield reunions, and it's just going to be diminishing the Shield, the allure of a Shield reunion more and more and more. It is time to end the Shield's reunions for good for now. If Dean Ambrose leaves WWE for now and he comes back in 5, 6 years and you want to do a Shield reunion, fine. But 3 years was not enough time. You don't do a reunion like that. This is like when WCW had the NWO splitting off in 2 factions, and we thought they hated each other, and then all of a sudden they were back together in no time, and it just got watered down and just got terrible and terrible and terrible. They did it in 2017 and 2018 to get people to love Roman. This time they did it just because Dean is supposedly leaving. I hope he is, because I don't want to see the Shield again for a very long time. If Dean's leaving, I wish we could do this, and I wish they would do this. Roman needs to go to SmackDown and win the WWE Championship, or go out to the WWE Championship. Seth stays on Raw. You need to split these 2 up. I'm sorry. Split these 2 up. 1 on Raw, 1 on SmackDown. Dean's off in no man's land doing whatever the fuck he wants to do, whether it's AEW, CZW, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, or just taking him a sabbatical from wrestling altogether, which in my opinion I think he's going to do. But this has got to end. No more Shield reunions, and Dean Ambrose leaving would be the best thing for WWE and the Shield. It's only like people are still cheering for the Shield for now. But say Dean signs that contract again, and they do the Shield reunion for now, and then Seth wins the WWE Champion, the Universal Championship, and Dean goes to SmackDown, and he's there for the next year, and it's Seth and Roman on Raw and Dean on SmackDown again, like they did in the original Superstar Shake-Up. The original draft. Dean, of course, on SmackDown was in a better spot than he is now. I knew in 2017 when they brought him back, that's all they were doing was doing the Shield reunion. But what's Dean to say? Dean, and I said it before and I'll say it again. Dean's not going to sign a contract with WWE because, the Shield reunion, we did that tonight. But what are you going to do with me after I sign that contract? Oh, 5 years, multi-million dollar contract? Okay, let me sign that. Well, Oh, he signed it. We don't have to do shit now. We can do that hokey shit all we want because Dean Ambrose is on our books for 5 years. Do you really think Dean Ambrose wants to go through hokey shit for 5 more years? No. So him leaving, to me, is not a work, and I hope the fuck it's not a work. Dean Ambrose needs to go so we can get a reprieve from the Shield like we should be. This is 5 years since the Shield actually, we're going into 5 years since the Shield originally broke up. It should not be like a Shield reunion. If you would have erased the 2017 and the 2018 Shield reunion, and Dean Ambrose was still leaving, and everything else happened, was like Roman had to leave for leukemia, and Roman came back, and then he says he wants to get the band back together with Seth Rollins. Maybe Dean and Seth Rollins were tagging like they were in 2018, and Dean still turned on him, and everything that played out when Roman came back to now, and he's like, I'm going to get the band back together, and they talk to each out, and then you get it. It would have been a lot more impactful than it is now. The fact that you had 2 previous reunions, and then this one, it hurt this one. It did. And again, I just hope this is it. I know I've been going on a tangent here and a rant, but it's just something I gotta say. The Dean Ambrose I hope he leaves. I'm hoping the fuck he leaves. If he doesn't leave, he needs to go to SmackDown again and be on SmackDown. Be a heel, be a babyface. Be a heel, please, because Dean Ambrose as a babyface is old, bland, and needs to go. I can't stand it. It's just, give me a break from the Shield. I don't want to see another Shield reunion. It's like, oh, the Shield was one last time. Oh, he stayed, so let's put the Shield back together. And it's just gonna diminish over time to where it's like, the Shield reunion again? You had people going crazy for it. But it's gonna happen again, and again, and again. And then people are gonna be like, this has got to stop. Because Steph, Dean, and Roman will never evolve whatsoever. Dean Ambrose evolved to be his own guy. Seth Rollins evolved to be his own guy. Roman has not. And he's back from this leukemia. He must evolve. He can't be the Superman that he was before. And with the fact that what he talked about in that WWE Chronicle, that he has a little bit of arthritis in his body because of the pill he has to take for his leukemia, he can't be the top guy. He can't. Because tonight, on its own, Roman Reigns put his body through some punishment, and that's going to take a toll on his body a lot faster than it would have done before he had to start taking that pill. So Roman Reigns' career has already been cut short. He's on borrowed time for his career, whether he wants to admit it or not. And one, I don't want to see anyone's career get cut short for anything. But we all have to face facts. Roman won't be wrestling in WWE for much longer. And I don't mean like the next 6 months or so. He'll be wrestling. He'll be there for the next year or so. But we're not going to see Roman Reigns in WWE in 10 years. Now, I could be wrong. There could be a medical breakthrough in leukemia that makes it curable and he doesn't have to worry about it anymore. But if he has to take that pill for the rest of his life and it gives him arthritis, that's just going to get worse and worse and worse as the years go on. It's just like if you're a running back in the NFL and you have the same problem and you have arthritis in your knees, your career will be cut short. You'll be there for maybe a year or two instead of a 6 or 7 long year career because of arthritis. Roman's got a ticker on a smaller time on his career than it would have been before if he would have never had leukemia or if he never would have came back. Unfortunately, that's just the way the world works. Do I want to see Roman lose his career because of stuff like this? No. I would never want to see anyone have to go through that. But it's just what we have to deal with. Vince is going to have to get it to his head that he wants Roman to be the guy, but Roman is compromised. And Roman can't be the guy anymore. Roman can be one of the guys, but he can't be the guy. No matter how much Vince wants him to be. Arthritis is going to be the end. Is going to kill Roman's career in the end, and it sucks to say that, but it's the damn truth. And if we see Roman wrestling in WWE in like 5 years from now, I would be shocked. But it is the truth. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you, but that is the truth. Roman Reigns' career is on borrowed time, so he can't be the guy. One of the guys, but not the guy. That's my opinion. I know I went on a little bit there, but that is your Fastlane review and a little bit of rant afterwards on the Shield. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Follow me on Twitter at TheFrance. Follow me on twitch.tv/TheFrance08. I will see you guys tomorrow for Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live on Tuesday. Wednesday will be NXT. Unfortunately, be the last set of tapings before Tommaso Ciampa had to go get his neck surgery. So, what we see on Wednesday is going to be irrelevant again. It's going to be next week is when things are going to. We'll see what happens with the NXT Championship. And we'll have all the news that I can get for you guys on episode 61 next Saturday. Until then, my name is TheFrance, and I will see you guys later.